What's up guys, hope you're all good. We are back with another tutorial. This one is a super important one and I get asked this a lot. Delays and reverb. Now there's a certain marriage between reverb and delays and a lot of people get it wrong, and this is what causes lots of muddiness. You've got to use delays and reverb in the right way. Now I get a lot of questions. First of all, what's the best delay? What's the best reverb? There isn't one. It's like the best. What's the best DAW? There isn't one. It's just whatever you feel more comfortable with. Now, the delays I use are the Logic, the standard Logic DAW ones. The reverb I use an Arts Acoustic. Now, it's quite old, but it just works for me. So let's go. Now, first of all, we've pulled in an ARP. Now this ARP is on my Academy. If you struggle with MIDIs or chords or bass patterns or riffs, feel free to grab the MIDI pack of the Academy for some inspiration. So first of all, let's listen to this ARP, or riff should we say, dry, no delay, no reverb, and then we're going to put delay and reverb on it to make it sound more special. So first of all, let's listen to it dry and take it from there. Here we go. Okay, so normal kind of riff, ARP, but it sounds quite stagnant. It's like da-da, 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 and there's nothing after that. Now, what we want to do with delays and reverb is just slightly improve the performance of the riff or the pad or whatever you're putting the reverb or the delay on. So let's concentrate on delays first. Delays is the most important when it comes to riffs because it makes the riff come alive. So here we go. That's normal. Now let's go with a delay. Now there's a number of delays what you can put on, but the first thing what you need to look at is the rhythm of your delay. Now that will define the kind of rhythm what you need to put on your delay. So the rhythm of my riff is 1/8 dotted, like do 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 do, and what you don't want to do is put a 1/8 dotted delay on your mix, because then the delay is hitting all your other notes. So for instance, this is 1/8 dotted. It's not improving it. It's literally just hitting some notes, and then the notes which aren't 1/8 dotted, you'll hear the delay. So you start to hear the delay acting around about at the end of the riff. So what we want to do is, first of all, we want to choose a note here, which depends what delay you're on, something which is different than the delay. So mine's 1/8 dotted. Let's just go with 1/4 and you'll hear the difference. So first we've got the note. Now we want to control the delay. We don't want it to be overpowering the actual original riff. So there's a few factors what you need to look at. First, the wet, the feedback, and the low to high cut ratio. The low to high cut ratio is basically, if we have this full, then that's playing the original sound exactly how it is. The more we push up, then that's going to play the sound like this. High, it's taking all the low end away. So I usually like to go in the middle. Take away the low end. Low end is always mud. We don't want that. So then you look at the wet, the amount of delay which is required. So usually I will start off by going 0, play until you start to hear the delays coming through. Now one thing we don't want to do is we don't want the delays to overtake the riff, because then it's just going to be pure mess. So we're going to press play and then we're going to listen to the delays coming through until we can actually hear them, and then we're going to stop on the wet. So here we go. sound there, but that's just logic for you. There we go. So we don't need much wet, because if you can imagine, we've got like 5 or 6 layers. All that is time. Like, you know, if you've got 5 or 6 layers and you've got 5 or 6 delays and you've got the wet at, like, you know, quite high, that's 5 times worth of delay, which means a lot of delays. That's also a lot of mud. So you need to follow these sequences. First of all, EQ. Second, your wet to dry ratio. And then third, the feedback. Now, feedback, usually for a riff, you keep it low because you don't want the notes to be bleeding. When I say that, I'll do a comparison. So feedback low is like we've just played. Delay stops. The more feedback we go up, we don't want that. And you can imagine that's going to be bleeding into everything else. We want to stay controlled. The number one thing in this game is controlling the mix. So EQ first, dry wet ratio, then feedback. So let's get this back to where we want. Around about 10%. There we go. That's our delay done. We don't need any more. We've got the track sounding nicer. So let's do a comparison now. A, B, with the delay, without the delay. Let's start off without. Now with. Straight away, improving it. Now we've done the delay, we move on to the reverb. Here we go. So reverb, delays, you know, there's no special plugins, you know, what you want to use. They all do the same thing. I use Arts Acoustic. Let's put this to 0. Dry, so you only need a few things with reverb. Usually you need the dry, the wet, and the decay. They're the main 3 things. So first of all, we're back to normal. This is dry, no reverb. And now we push the reverb up. You can start to hear it, you know, and that sounds really weird. So what you want to do is same kind of like step-by-step process what we just did with the delays. First you get your dry. Now with the wet, start at 0 and you want to push it up until you hear that reverb pushing through the mix, but you've got control. Okay, so let's do that. There we go. We can start to hear it here. We only want to do a little bit. And now the time design, the decay, that's how long your reverb goes on for. So if it's at 1.8 seconds, you note it, your reverb will last for 1.8 seconds. The more it goes on, the more the reverb will go on. So we want to keep this in the region of like 1, you know, half a second and 2 seconds. That's where I always like go for with riffs. And it's always done me right. So let's go here. Straight away, that sounds good. Now we can start to mess around with the frequency of the reverb, just like we've just done in the delay. There's no point me showing you on Arts Acoustic because, you know, a lot of people won't have Arts Acoustic, but all you want to do is just take the low end away. And that is basically it. So let's look at the riff with no effects, no delay, no reverb, and then let's look at it with the effects. So let's take them off. Dry. Wet. That's all we want to do. don't overpower it. Don't put too much reverb on. Don't put too much delay on, because the more sound you layer, that means more delay, more reverb, and the track will just start to get super, super messy. So the number one rule with delays and reverb is full control. When you're playing the rhythm or when you're playing the melody, does it sound distracted with the delays? Does it sound distracted with the reverb? If it does, go back to the start. Go follow that step-by-step process. If you always follow that step-by-step process, you'll never be far wrong. Anyway, I hope you digged the quick tutorial, and I will see you soon. Ciao.